welcome. Special edition of the High School Huddle, along with Ronnie Phillips, Phil Nichols. I'm Chris Evans. Our title sponsor is our good friends at Red River Roofing. Well, before we get started for the football season with scrimmages here in a few days and games next week, we have a little controversy going on in Glencoe, Oklahoma, just outside of Stillwater, with the basketball program. And I will just read it. I think a lot of people who are watching this probably have heard about the Glencoe situation, and it has kind of gotten bigger and bigger as this has moved on. So I'll kind of read some from KGOU, what they report, and then we'll kind of get into it here. I've watched the Glencoe thing podcast with Scott Mitchell with News 9, and then I've also gone to the OSSAA board meeting and heard the appeal. But let's set it all up here with KGOU. According to the lawsuit, the OSSAA says students violate Glencoe Rule 24, also known as the linked rule, a controversial provision intended to keep students from transferring and from following a coach to a new school district. 3 of the 4 named students in the lawsuit attend a team camp in May at Glencoe with Coach Garrett Schubert. The students later applied through the transfer portal when it opened in June 1st. But according to the lawsuit, OSSAA said the students should have unenrolled from the previous districts first. Glencoe's attorney, Hannah Witten, with the firm Witten Burge, said there is no OSSAA provision requiring that. She says, quote, "There's been no requirement to unenroll your kid before the school year starts and before the transfer portal opens." So they did everything to the letter of the law, according to Hannah Witten. Hannah Witten is the attorney for Glencoe Public Schools. The family has also got an attorney as well. So fast forward, there was some private meetings between Glencoe and staff members of the OSSAA. And then it went to a board, the board of directors for the OSSAA, which is made up of all superintendents around the state, and I believe one athletic director as well. So that is the board. Each side had about 25, 30 minutes to show their case, and eventually the board of directors for the OSSAA voted 12-0 to deny Glencoe for those kids to be eligible for the basketball season. Since then, Glencoe has filed an injunction in Payne County, and that will now be heard in front of a judge. So there's been a lot of back and forth on this. I know in that interview with News 9, Scott Mitchell, they were talking about open gyms, which is a big thing. A lot of schools like Glencoe do have open gyms, but there was a team camp that they're not mentioning, and an OSSAA staff member investigated the case, called the athletic department over there, got some answers, and he concluded that there was some violations going on. That OSSAA investigator took his findings to his supervisor, which is David Jackson, the executive director at the OSSAA. He goes over it. He finds the same violations, he believes, and they take it to the board as 12-0. So this Coach Schubert is the head coach, Garrett Schubert, and he's not a teacher. He's not a certified teacher, does not have an emergency certificate. He's a lay coach. And he has coached these kids during the AAU circuit in the past before. I think they've grown up with him. And the Coach Schubert and his attorney, Glencoe's attorney, Hannah Witten, had said he had not been involved with those students in the past calendar. He did not coach those students in the past calendar year as a lay coach. So that's where it is right now. And then fast forward, you have state representatives and senators who now want to abolish the OSSAA. So it has really gone on. And so we have seen many of these appeal cases before, and there's been times that I've disagreed with the board just because it's a heartfelt decision. Now, letter of the law, I get it, but heartfelt, but I've also seen it, and we'll use Guthrie example in 2011. The OSSAA staff, different executive director at the time, said Guthrie could not play football after a violation they found, but the OSSAA board did overturn that before. So it does happen, and I will add one more thing before I open it up here. There are transfers all the time. We've talked about transfers on the High School Huddle all the stinking time. We don't hear about the transfers we don't hear these type appeal hearings all the time because most of them are filed correctly and done, and you move on.
Right.
This one was not quite there.
Right.
So I will open it up to you guys before.
Well, I'll start by saying this. You know, we have adopted children, and my wife and I over the years, and we were involved in an OSSAA ruling where we were also said our child that we had adopted could not participate. And then I also want to say this. I've gotten to know the current administration leadership of OSSAA because we do a lot of state championship and playoff broadcasts, and we're around them a lot. And we've gotten to know these guys personally. And I will tell you this is just me, Phil Nichols talking. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I do not believe for 1 second that anybody at the OSSAA has a dog in the fight on whether or not these young men play basketball at Glencoe this year. They are as neutral as you could get. They're trying to interpret the law or the rules the way they're written. I did hear. I went back and listened to a couple of the interviews that the young attorney, I can't recall her name,
Hannah Witten,
Mrs. Witten or Miss Witten did. The superintendent of schools for Glencoe was in the one that I watched here recently.
Superintendent Jay Reeves.
And this is what I think is the key thing. And it's hard to do when you're involved, but you got to keep the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody in Glencoe that's involved, if they're anything like their athletic director, who we know personally very well, top shelf human beings.
Yeah, and Superintendent Reeves comes across the same
top
way.
shelf.
Yeah.
So nobody's suggesting. I don't think anything was done trying to undermine anything. I believe them when they say they reached out. I believe them when they said there was community. I believe them. There's no reason not to. I also believe that if these young men attended a team camp, that is a violation of the rule.
Yeah, so these players are transferring from different schools.
Right.
We don't need to go through all the schools, but they are transferring from schools, and the portal opens in June 1st. This team camp took place in May.
Right.
Therefore, if they're at X school, they are participating at Glencoe as an X school because they have not been formally unenrolled or enrolled at Glencoe.
Right. So I
There's the letter of the law.
So I don't think anybody in this is being malicious in anything they're doing on either side. I think everybody's just trying to do what they feel is the best thing. But I do have to say this, okay? And I don't know the coach, never met him. I'm sure he's an upstanding man. So I'm not.
From what I've been told,
So I'm not.
As a common friend, I've heard he's a great guy.
Yeah, and I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, I know one thing. He had a kid that could really spin it at Stillwater last year.
Yeah, and that's
so,
the other. Yeah, Coach Schubert, I think, lives in the Morrison area,
Yeah.
and his
oldest son,
transferred to Stillwater and was their starting quarterback,
Yeah.
who's now a preferred walk-on at Oklahoma
at
State.
Oklahoma State. So I get all of that stuff, right? I'm starting from a place. These are all good people. They just have a disagreement on how this is supposed to work,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So then I read an article when this first came out, and in there, Coach Schubert, correct? Was kind of stating the case. You know, these are kids I know, I've known for years. Our families are friends. We've traveled together. We've taken vacations together. That's not a direct quote, but that's pretty darn close. So then common sense kicks in for me, okay? And I'm not saying this happened. I'm just saying this is how I try to process things, right? So we're to believe, based on what the council has said repeatedly, that the OSSAA has picked these kids to use her words, bully.
Yeah.
Which, when you start, and I get it, she's an attorney. I get it, she's fighting hard for her client. I get all that.
Trying to be a bulldog, yeah.
But when you start accusing people like David Jackson, who's one of the finest men I've ever met, that spent his entire life serving children.
As long with the OSSAA staff and the board of directors.
Correct.
That's their job.
That's their job. They're there to serve the kids and the school districts of our state. When you start using the word bully and applying it to him and his staff and the other people we know there, you lose me. you immediately lose me.
Yeah. Well, and just the threat of the lawsuit and over and over.
It's silliness. I understand why she's doing it.
Yeah.
I just think it's a bad look, and I think it's a bad choice, because I can promise you, not one of those people wake up on any given day saying we're going to go bully a child today.
And that's how Coach Clark started off his presentation. Is like, we try to find ways to make kids eligible. We're not going this way to make them ineligible. Our job is to make them eligible. And you remember when Mike Clark he got information from 2 or 3, I don't know how many different schools.
Yeah.
And so he has to do his due process for them as well.
It's not listen, that's a great point. There's 2 or 3 other schools that are losing kids, right? So to your point, you got to go investigate all that. I think this whole thing is unfortunate for everybody involved.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good for anybody, especially for the kids.
It's just it has gotten nasty too by some of the parents on the Facebook stuff. You see, I mean, the rules were clearly broken. I mean, it was unanimous. It was 12-0. This wasn't like it was 7-6 or something like that. I mean, it was unanimous. I mean, they all saw it the same way every day. But people were in these comments just nasty towards OSSAA and saying, well, this school did, that school. No, they're all treated the exact same. It doesn't matter if you're union or if you're Glencoe. You got to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And to get nasty on Facebook and say just some disgusting stuff is crazy. And what's even more crazy to me is now we got state legislators sticking their nose in this business again and want to abolish the OSSAA.
Well, let me ask you
what's going on.
Let me ask a quick question.
We'll get to that here.
But let me ask a quick question. Who established the OSSAA?
The schools, the memberships.
The membership, not the legislators.
Correct. Yes.
Which their counsel, in an interview, said it's just so many things that were said that it's just obvious. Listen, you want to win, I get it, but you gotta tell the truth. And if you don't know something, just say I don't know. But don't offer it up like it's factual.
Yeah.
I mean, it just drives me crazy when people do that.
And just to rewind a little bit, we'll talk more about the state legislatures. But to get back,
they got bigger problems.
Yeah. But that's where I'll probably need to be reeled in on that part coming up here in a minute. But to kind of go back to what you're saying, these students are not transferring because of education purposes.
No.
We got the governor, got the politics side of the things, but don't tell me you hire a coach that coached AAU who's not teaching. He's not a certified teacher. He's not on the district's website when I last looked.
Hasn't even applied to be an alternatively certified teacher.
Correct. And tell me they're not there for basketball purpose. Glencoe does not have 5 or 6 transfers just like that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's just be honest with each other. They're there to play for that coach.
Sure.
Which is
fine.
Which is absolutely
if you follow the
fine.
rules.
If you follow the rules.
If you follow the rules. And I know there's verbal stuff, and I think Glencoe people will say that the OSSAA had told them this and that, and now they're going back for that part. I don't know. That's through emails and investigation. That's not for me to even try to decide that, because my vote does not matter whatsoever in any of this. So that's the situation with Glencoe, and now it has gone into a little bit more. I can tell you, I hope to have Representative Ty Burns with a one-on-one, maybe somewhere down the line with the podcast, so we can talk this out together. But I got to meet him and sit with him at the OSSAA board meeting, and he will tell you this. If there's anything against, he's very anti-OSSAA.
Right.
I haven't really gotten into details of why, but he was there at the meeting, and I think, I haven't told him this, but I will. I think he went there to be mad, and he left mad, and now we have more press hearings and press clips and releases of him and others wanting to abolish the OSSAA. And by the way, in Oklahoma, it's the OSSAA. In Texas, it's UIL. Every state has an association. Yeah. So Oklahoma is not special. They have associations, and I've been to some summer meetings, and you have all 50 states, actually 51 District of Columbia, but nonetheless. So I just find it, when you get a state legislature talking about somebody else, they make this much money. Well, the state legislature, $5 million base salaries, it doesn't even count their per diem. So there's so many ways they can bring that I can bring back the other way as well. they got a pay raise, they get per diem. They don't have open meeting act. They don't have to open records. They can send text messages on apps and not have to. There's other things out there. And I will say this one more time because this part I need to stop. But I asked a couple legislators.
Yeah.
I said, if we get rid of the OSSAA like you want, who is it? They don't have that answer yet. I'm sure they're working on that right now. But I asked, I go, the new body, will they have rules? Well, yes. Will everybody like those rules? Well, no. It's the same thing we have right now. Yeah. So I hope to have Representative Burns on. We'll talk that.
Who better to run, and just for the record, because I heard this misstated a couple times in this interview too, it's the Oklahoma Secondary Schools Activities Association, not Athletic Association.
She didn't even know what made up the board.
Didn't even know what made up the board. Said coaches. No, coaches don't make up the board. No. It's not coaches.
Yeah.
It's the majority are superintendent of schools. I think we have one AD, I think, on the board currently. Yeah. These are folks, this is their business. This is what they do. So who exactly are we going to get to run this that's better than them?
Well, Representative Burns was so mad. He had a television appearance on Fox 23. He even suggested the Oklahoma Department of Education could run it better.
That'd be great. That'd work out great. Woo, let's get us some of that.
Let's let coaches do it too. How great would that be?
Imagine that.
Yeah, they'll be straight down the line, won't they? They're as neutral as ever.
Neutral.
Coaches have a network, and help you out. It's and they would say the same thing about the board of directors that they're just going to vote the same because they don't want to push anything. Well,
that's not true.
State legislatures a lot of time select that green button over 9%.
As a taxpayer in this state, like all three of us are, I'd much rather have my legislators perhaps working on things like bringing more business to Oklahoma and stuff like that.
Working on our education numbers and trying to make that better.
Maybe stuff like that.
Instead of worrying about this stuff.
But if you I'm not saying this scenario, but I've seen other scenarios where you could rally your fan base up, especially in an election year. But I'm not saying about Representative Ty Burns because he's been on this kick.
No, he's always been on this kick.
There's been interim studies that I went to at the Capitol a couple years ago.
I can't wait to hear why. If you get the interview, that's one of the questions I want to know is why.
Why
is he so angry about the OSSAA?
Well, he's just not allowing kids to do what they
want to do?
Yeah. That's
it's not already the Wild West right now.
And
good Lord.
And I've also seen the OSSAA, people are upset with the OSSAA because they're allowing the transfer to come in. Well, if the OSSAA didn't do that, the state legislators was going to force the transfers.
Yeah,
exactly.
And
they had to get on top of it.
And again, this is I think it was Representative Burns said education's 50%. That's why we're 50th in the nation in education. Again, they're not transferring.
You saying this is why?
Well, he was just making a statement that I would have to pull up exactly.
I got a laundry list of 100 reasons why we are other than that.
But it's a reminder this was not done for education purposes.
No.
Yeah, no.
It's not like they're transferring to Cassidy.
Or, yeah.
Well, I mean, the only reason I use Cassidy is it's a school that has about a 35% attending Ivy League schools when I graduate. That's the only reason I use them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, see, all this would be a lot better. And I'm going to go back. I get that kids want to play with their buddies. Now, I had a lot of friends. I had friends from Yates Center, Fredonia, Burlington, Cherryville, Neodesha. These are all names of towns in Kansas where I grew up that I played sports again. Never in a million years would I leave the kids I played with to go play with another group of kids. It was a different time. So all that's somewhat foreign on me, but I'm old. I get it. I'm old. But I understand kids today, it's a different world.
Yeah.
And there's not the same sense of loyalty and team, and there just isn't. You can say there is, there just isn't.
Yeah.
So I get all that, but it still comes down to in life, in the real world, in the big real world, outside of basketball or football or baseball or whatever sport you're talking about, band, whatever activity, doesn't matter, there's rules. If you don't follow the rules, what happens? There's consequences to the rules.
Yeah. Again, I would say Glencoe will tell you they've received different
answers. I get that.
And that's for that.
But that's why you have an investigation now. That's why you go to court. You want to go to court? You and I don't know if we want to share it today, probably not, but you and I both have our own opinion on what the outcome of this is going to be.
Yeah, no, I think ultimately they will be cleared to play.
I think ultimately they'll be cleared to play too.
I do.
I really do. by a judge.
Yeah,
You don't think so, Ronnie?
No, I think they will. And I think that's the sad part of the whole thing.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's what I think's going to happen.
It's just that Phil's talk about day and age. Back in Phil's day, blah blah blah. He just told you about it. But now these days, if you don't get what you want,
Sue 'em.
you throw a fit and you sue them, and then you finally get your way.
Yeah.
It's just you're just not teaching them anything at this point. But
Well, yeah, but we got to let go of that, Ronnie.
This.
We got to let go of that. That ship sailed. Well, I had a guy today tell me that he doesn't watch college sports anymore because it's been ruined. I said college sports has been ruined for years. They just made it official by giving the NIL and portal, you know. And I mean, part of why this is such a big deal is you do see these kids switching schools. You had a kid last year that's at Jinx. It's one of the top kids. Now he's at Broken Arrow, and a kid that was over here is now at Bixby, and a kid that's here is over.
A female basketball player who went to Fort Gibson, Booker T. Now she's at Muskogee.
I mean, 3 schools in 4 years.
And if you do it the right way, you can.
And you do it the right, yeah.
Remember the Owasso quarterback? He
Yeah.
went to 4 different schools.
4 different schools.
Well, Owasso twice. But.
So you see all this, so I can understand why you would go, huh?
Well, they did it. That part,
right.
Yeah, that's what they're seeing. That's what they're saying in the comments.
The last point I'll make, though, this is back to the council for the school district. She made the statement in the interview I saw that this would jeopardize the future education of the kids of Glencoe. Yeah. Can somebody please explain to me how kids not getting to play basketball there together jeopardizes the education of a whole school district? Can somebody help me understand that?
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to have to shut down the Glencoe School District if these kids don't play basketball there?
Yeah, I would say
it's crazy.
The council has been a little aggressive.
Over the top.
Over the top. I understand. I've seen it in person. I've seen it in interviews. I think it's just a bit too much. She's young. I think will progress. I know the law firm that she works at, her dad is very highly successful, and she probably will too, but I think she's gotten a little ahead of herself.
But when you make statements like that this jeopardizes the educational opportunity for all kids and just stop.
And that David Jackson's a bully.
Just stop. I mean, so even some people that might even side with you, when you make these absolute statements, I think this is part of where this fire has grown. And believe me, I think that's her intention. Her intention is to say these things.
She mentioned lawsuit many times. Even after the 12-0, we'll see in district court.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, if your desire is to end up in court, if your desire is to be inflammatory, if your desire is to make accusations about people that know those people know are 100% wrong, good job. You did a good job.
Yeah. Again, Superintendent Reeves has been nothing but professional. Athletic department hasn't been nothing professional.
Yep.
OSSAA has been nothing but professional as well. Yep. So it's just a disagreement, and whether OSSAA gave them this and that, I don't know. Again, Ronnie, Phil, and I do not have a vote. We're just 3 of very, very many opinions. I see both sides of this.
I do too.
Representative Burns had multiple Facebook posts out there, and they're like, man, if we got rid of the OSSAA, you think it's bad now, wait until – because my example is if you let them just transfer, if a Salina, Kansas quarterback gets benched in the third game of the year, can he go suit up for Wichita North in the 4th week?
It sounds like that's what some people want.
I mean, some would, yeah.
I mean, it's just insanity is what it is.
Oh, now we're taking spots away from kids that grew up there.
Well,
right?
We're
going to talk about that part.
That's one of the things I'm sort of thinking about. We're talking about these. Actually, it's 5 kids because the coach's son automatically gets to transfer. So it's really 5 new kids. So if you're a Glencoe returning basketball player, right? Pretty sure these 5 kids aren't coming to ride the bench.
Yeah.
So how about the 5 kids that we're going to start this year that aren't going to start this year at Glencoe? Do we care about that?
Yeah.
Or is that not a big deal? I mean, it's about the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, is that a bully move to go out? Oh, excuse me, they didn't recruit. Right, they didn't recruit. I forgot. No recruiting, even though their friends take trips together and go on vacations. But since there's no recruiting involved, these 4 kids, coach's son comes with him, these 4 kids just out of the clear blue sky decided it was a great idea to go to Glencoe because they're a basketball powerhouse, right?
Very, very good.
Very good.
Yeah. Seen it several times. Seen it every time's a big time.
Right. Very good. Yeah. So I can even buy that. What I don't buy for 1 second, that we're upset about this for any other reason than they want them to play basketball there. Period. Yeah. Hard stop. Yeah. That's why.
And take a spot from the other 5 kids that we're going to play this year.
Those other 5 kids, what do? They're just out. Been there their whole lives.
They're supposed to go transfer to Morrison, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if we're going to talk about it's for the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mess. There's no doubt about that. And again, it has taken its all new level. I know there's a lot of legislatures are talking and wanting to do this, and so we'll see how it all plays out. So again, football scrimmages are here, games are here. So
I need some helmets in Glencoe for this is all over.
Absolutely. So again, we have no say in that. We
Just three opinions.
Just three opinions.
Well, and I don't care one way or the other. I mean, it doesn't affect my life one way or the other.
Right.
But I do believe that if you have rules, you got to follow the rules.
Yeah. We'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how it all plays out for Glencoe. And however it ends up, I just wish the best for everybody. I know it's tough. I know it's tough. So, all right, that'll do it. Hey, by the way, we do have a live show. We talk about stuff like this on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock right here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/High School Huddle. That's where you can find us, and we can have some conversations. And you can put your comments into the chat. We'll bring it up on the screen, and we'll talk about it on our live shows Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. So we're going to talk a lot of football, but if you want to bring it up, we'll definitely talk about that. So hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you next time here on the High School Huddle.